my friends. Tonight I wanted to talk about physical media and why I still believe it has a place in today's day and age. Concerning all that has happened with all the Sony issues with digital games being deleted and such, or taken off the marketplace. For instance, I have the Godzilla PS4 game downloaded to my system. And Sony recently stated, or someone stated, that a lot of their downloads were being deleted. And I fear that I could have lost that. Because in order to get a copy of Godzilla PS4, you're going to have to pay $269 for a physical copy. This is an example of why physical media is so important. And for kids that grew up in the early 90s and the late 80s, we didn't have digital things. There wasn't an internet to download music off of. There wasn't ways we could pirate films. I mean, technically, we recorded them on a VHS tape, so I guess that could be considered as it, but it was only for personal use to watch. We never sold them. But that's an example. We couldn't afford some of these movies. I came from a low-income family, and there were just certain things we couldn't afford. So we would go to Video Update. We would go to Video Update and we would rent movies there all the time. And every time I went in there and saw those covers on the shelves, like for the movies, the video games, they all captivated me. That's what got me into all of it, because of all the pictures and all the images. And you could read the back of the case and see the story, and it would explain the plot. I mean, you could do that now because we have the internet, but back then we didn't have the internet. And another thing to state, for those that couldn't afford things like that back then, it is very special to us because we couldn't get those things. And there's nothing quite like holding a physical copy of something in your hand. Let me give you an example. Let me show you my collection. See that? Another thing is with digital, you can't hold it like this. There's just some satisfaction from feeling this, touching it, looking at it. And look at the contents. I mean, it has behind the scenes, it has artwork. You don't get that from digital. And yeah, it's digital and you can look at the artwork, I'm sure, but you know what happens if your account's deleted or you lose all the information? Then all of it is gone and then you have nothing left. That is why physical is better. And even then, like I said before with the Godzilla game, I can't get a hold of that now because it's like $269. There is a reason why us collectors collect these things. Because they're beautiful, they're works of art, and the people that took the time actually cared. And another thing, when streaming fails, like let's say, you can't pay for streaming. Like let's say, you need to pay that if rent is too expensive and you just have to cut costs. With these, you don't have to do that. You don't have to rely on cable companies. You don't have to rely on streaming. You don't have to pay $13 a month or however much you all pay. But yeah, physical media is an asset, and I think that we should keep it alive. The fact that Best Buy has completely gone or is doing away with it, it just blows my mind too. I don't understand it. But companies have to cut costs, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to give my insight on it. With physical media, it will always be valuable. And there will always be someone there to ask, hey, you got a movie, I want to watch it. Sure, come on over, let's watch it. Because it's not on Netflix, or you can't get a hold of it anymore. Another example, Rodan and War of the Gargantuas. You can't get a hold of that unless you're going to pay a pretty penny, because Criterion has not announced whether or not they're going to do a release of it. And, you know, Godzilla vs. Biollante, another example. It is selling for $200. $200! I'm not even making this up. Look it up. It's even worse with Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Yeah, you got them all on Tubi now, but like I said, back then we didn't have that. Anyways, I would like to go more into detail about this, perhaps for my next video. But for those of you that have stuck around and listened to me ranting like an old man, I appreciate it, and thank you. And may you have an excellent evening, and I welcome you to join the madness. Good night.